Oh, uncertainty. So we're going to practice the least count and first best guess, but let's get the notes done for this, and then we'll go back and talk about it some more. Okay. When you are uncertain about something, you are not particularly certain. I don't know how else to say it. It's about confidence. All right. So how confident are you in your reading? Okay. So let's keep going. And theoretically, uncertainty could be any number you want it to be. However, because this is probably your first introduction to uncertainty, we're going to limit the choices you have to use as a number. This is going to be a little confusing, so don't worry. Take the notes down and we'll get to doing some examples, and I think that'll help a lot. So here's the deal. The spaces we looked at between the tick marks, and we talk about the fact that they have value, if you think you can visualize, you can take your eye and you can say, oh yeah, I can probably divide that in my mind into 10 places. Well, that gives you a good amount of uncertainty, because now you don't have to guess whether, for example, it's 0.7 or 0.8, because there'd be a line. I mean, there wouldn't be a line, but you could visualize a line for 0.7 or 0.8, which is what we did earlier. So your uncertainty is going to be the number 1. Now, in terms of the units that go on that and what place value it goes in, that depends on the instrument, and we'll come back to that, okay? But just if you have two adjacent tick marks and they're far enough apart that you could visualize 10 spaces in there, then your uncertainty is going to be a 1. If you can only visualize 5 spaces, then you're a little less certain, so you have a greater uncertainty, so you're less confident in your guess. Then your uncertainty is going to be the digit 2. All right, so just stick with me here. Okay. If you can only visualize the space being divided into 2 places, I should have said spaces there instead of places, but oh well, then you're even more uncertain, so your uncertainty is going to be a 5. So the greater the uncertainty, the less confidence you have in your guess. Okay? So if you have an uncertainty of 1, that means, yeah, I'm pretty confident. You know, it could be something else, but I'm pretty confident it's that. An uncertainty of 2 means, yeah, it'd be nice if it were a 1, but I can deal with the 2. It's not bad. I don't have as much confidence as I would have if I had a 1. And 5 means, yeah, this could be anywhere really between, 1 in 5 or 1 in 10, and I'm not really confident. Well, I'm not really confident, so my uncertainty is going to be larger. So you can do all this in your head if you want to. However, there is a formula that you can follow to sort of figure out, okay, should I use a 1 or 2 or a 5? So to get the uncertainty, which is the UNC, okay, the uncertainty, you take the least count, which you just figured out is the difference between adjacent tick marks, and divide it by the number of spaces you can visualize in your mind that you could put in between those 2 tick marks. And if you do that out, assuming you stick with the spaces visualized as being 10, 5, or 2, you're always going to get a 1, 2, or a 5. Anyway, we'll practice, so don't worry. All right, here we go. So we have the scale, which is, I think, the same as the one we saw before. But anyway, so the least count is what? Right, 1 gram. And how many spaces do you think you can visualize between the 3 and the 4? Now, those tick marks are pretty far apart, so I'm going to say I can visualize 10 spaces. I mean, I can estimate where the 5 is and, whether it's a 1 or a 4. So I'm pretty confident in this. So I'm going to say my least count is 1. My first best guess is 3.7 grams. So my uncertainty is going to be plus or minus 0.1 grams. Notice that the digit is a 1, and a 1 means I'm fairly certain because I could divide that space between the tick marks into 10 places. So the 1 isn't in the 1's place. In this case, it's in the 10th place because the uncertainty is always in the same place value as the guess. And if you think about the definition of the word guess, guess means you're uncertain to some degree. So it makes sense that the uncertainty, how confident you feel in your guess, is going to be in the same place value as your guess. Okay, so there is that. We'll do some more. So notice, first best guess is one place value to the right of the least count, and the uncertainty and the first best guess are in the same place value. All right. Okay. Units. All the numbers, no matter if they're least count, first best guess, or uncertainty, must have units attached to them. Okay. So units, 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 units.